Today we're going to be looking at 5/4 by 4, 3 common. Common boards are used for shelving, grading, pallet material, a lot of different uses around the house and on the farm. But today we're looking at 3 common. There's 5 grades of commons spelled out in the Western Lumber Grading Rules. That would be paragraph 30. We will go through this lumber and talk about it as we go through. Knot sizes. We can have a 2.5 inch knot. This knot right here is only 1 inch, so we could have a 1.5 times that size of a knot. 2.5 inches on a red knot, meaning one that's intergrown with the wood around it, like this one. A black knot, like this one, could only be 1.5 inches. Holes. We're allowed 1 hole in a number 3 common, and that, or an unsound knot, which would be a rotten knot, and that can only be 3/4 of an inch. And in lumber this size, there can only be 1 hole per board. So as we go through this, we'll take a look to see what our grade looks like here for number 3 common at WMATCO, and we'll discuss the different defects as we go through. The blue stain is a fungus that attacks the wood and actually goes after the cellulose in the rays of the wood and actually turns it blue in the green form after the lumber is reduced to 19% in moisture through dry kill process. The stain remains, but the water is taken out, so that the stain is put into remission. As long as the lumber maintains in a dry state, it will never get any worse. Piece of lumber right here has a hole that's larger than 3/4 of an inch, so that hole, that knot would be, or that hole would be too large for a piece of number 3 common. So we reject that piece, or we trim it off and make it kind of make a 4 common, but not a 3. Wane, 3 common type wane on the back. We could have it 2/3 of the thickness by a 1/4 the width by half the length. You see, this doesn't exceed that any. So again, wane, for those who don't know, is the outside of the log, the round part of the log. You're cutting rectangles out of round circles or logs. You're going to end up with some wane on the edge of lumber. commons also, some defects, even though they're limited in size, if you have a piece that's of real high quality, you can exceed the limitations on the defects normally by about 25%. But it just depends on the individual grader and how the lumber is looking overall. Piece here, we have a little bit more wane than what we'd be allowed, but it's a real hot line piece of wood, so we will take that anyway. A lot of times we'll have lumber that's mismanufactured in the sawmill and we don't quite get it cut thick enough. When we send it through the planer, we develop skip, which is rough areas in the lumber. As you can see here, we have skip for about 2/3 the length. We can take that in a 3 common. On the back we could have a 16th skip full length. On the face we could only have about 12 inches of skip. So we use this as a face for 3 common. In commons, you're permitted 1 grade lower on the back side. So this was graded 3 common. Piece of wood here has, I said the black knots are 1 3/4 of an inch. We can only have 1 of those in a board this size. Here we have 4 or 5, so we would reject that. That would grade a piece of 4 common. piece of lumber here has a broken end on it, so we would reject that. It needed to be trimmed. It wouldn't make the grade pretty common. Piece of wood here has more pitch pockets than would be desirable for the face of a 3. We put that on the back side. This becomes our number 3 face with the number 4 back. Holes in it. That's too many. We're only allowed 1 3/4 inch hole.